So some of you might be asking, what are the benefits of testing? Having your child tested for learning and attention issues is an important step toward helping them manage their challenges. And it's an important opportunity to help them make the most of their education. Always keep in mind when it comes to education that it should work for you. It should not be, while it should be challenging in healthy ways, it should not be challenging to obtain, because there should be supports in place to make sure you're able to do so. And so if you're finding that your child is struggling with the existing supports, it might be necessary to see what else is out there to supplement what they're already getting. And so if the evaluation process takes place at school, it typically takes place over the course of a few days. And your child will take a number of tests that will identify the areas that they're struggling in. And although they don't necessarily provide a diagnosis, the results may determine whether they have a specific learning disability. And so the school cannot force you to have your child tested, but there are some benefits to doing it, whether the results qualify your child for special education or not. And so some of the key advantages are, and that it will help you in understanding what your child can and cannot do well. For example, they may score in the 10th percentile for math testing, but they may score in the 70th percentile for basic math skills like addition and subtraction. And so this will give you a clearer idea of where they need support and where they can work more independently. It will give your child a better understanding of themselves. And so a lot of times parents find themselves worrying about sharing the results with their child, feeling like it might hurt their self-esteem. But a school counselor or a school evaluator can explain the results in a way that your child can grasp. And your child might be relieved to understand why they're struggling. And so they might be able to finally put words to what's going on, especially if they're experiencing ridicule and bullying by peers who recognize that they're struggling. You know, perhaps it could be an opportunity for your child to educate the students around them about how we learn differently and how it's okay to need support. It could, speaking of support, mean that your child gets additional support. So I'm sorry, it's like storming like crazy outside. And so I'm getting these alerts on my phone. I got to check them to make sure I ain't got to run to the basement. But testing could mean that your child gets additional supports. And so a team at the school will review your child's test results, and then they'll decide whether or not they're entitled to special education services and supports at school. If so, the team will outline those services in an individualized education program, or an IEP, or a 504 plan. And so if not, the team could recommend that their teachers try some informal accommodations, but it's rare that an evaluation results in no extra help. Whatever the case, added support will make the school less frustrating for your child. Testing may also provide some legal protection. So if your child qualifies for an IEP or a 504 plan, the school will be legally required to provide support that allows them to function academically. And so I went over your rights. I'll briefly go over what are called the, oh my God, the name just escaped me that fast. The safeguards. I'll briefly go over the safeguards that are in place to protect you throughout that process as well. So testing can also give you more control over what's happening at school. As a parent, you can use the data from an evaluation to advocate for your child. So for example, you may want them to have more support in language arts. So showing that they're in the 10th percentile for reading is more convincing than walking in and saying, my child can't read. So if your child has an IEP, you can have a say in what instructional approach they need, and in setting goals to address the needs brought forth in that IEP. It'll also help you make better choices for your child. Knowing more about their strengths and their weaknesses can, so knowing more about their strengths and their weaknesses can help you make educational choices that work for them. And that can include the types of classes they take, the teachers they have, the schools, and the instructional approaches that you end up preferring. And so testing could also help you make more informed choices about after school activities, what they end up doing over the summer. And it can give you a greater understanding overall of who your child is and how you can help make the most of their potential. So that, in a nutshell, are some benefits of testing. A majority of these were pulled from understood.org, which is an excellent resource where I was able to learn so much about the special education process and then relay it to you, my family. So yeah, go check out some of the other videos I got. I think I'm about to have like 17. So check them out, learn, and hit me up with questions.